So basically what it boils down to is anybody with a mic probably gonna get a friend request. Anybody without a mic that's displaying a good ability to do their job and added points for sending me a message proving that they're listening is probably gonna get to continue to play with me. But like, the second that person starts being a creep, the second that person starts being stubborn, then it's like, I'm sorry, like, I don't have time for people that think they're already the best, because I have skirmish turned off. We're sitting here for quite literally the length of a Terrioth video, and if you can't watch a Terrioth video while we sit here, like, gee whiz, that's all I have to say is gee whiz. You know what I mean? Like, and so that just gets, the reason I'm so picky with this is because there's no quality vetting program in Overwatch. Prefer this player, can't even block a player, because like when you could avoid a player, the best Widowmaker on PC had thousands of people avoiding her just because they didn't want to deal with her shit, and I'm sitting here thinking, damn, what idiots, I would have sent her a friend request. Like, I want her on my team. Then you know what? She's on my team and I'm not dying to her. I don't understand why people don't think like that. And so there's no vetting program in Overwatch other than to be like, if you're not willing to grow as a player, I can't play with you. Like, that's, and the reason I'm like mildly frustrated at a lack of a vetting program is because of my, you know, past history with vetting programs. In Payday, they made it really easy. If you had 3 guys with a mic, you could sit on the best heist in the entire game, which was like Crown Jewels or something like that, which if you finished with a competent team, you could be done with that mission in under 26 seconds. I think that was a trophy, in fact, to finish it under 26 seconds, which I had. So what we would do is me and my 3 buddies with mics would sit, and when a person would inevitably join, they'd be like, hey buddy, you got a mic? Hey buddy, you got a mic? And when they either proved they had a mic or didn't, they would get to play with us and then almost inevitably be our friend, because Payday is an incredibly constructive game because there's no enemy team other than AIs. They would inevitably be our friend, and if they didn't have a mic, they would just get the boot and we'd be on to the next person who would join in not 10 seconds. So that was like the best vetting program ever. And what do we have here in Overwatch? Like, just patience. Patience is the only way. Patience is literally the only way in this game, is just be willing to root through some knuckleheads and willing to maybe get in a few arguments, because like, whatever, we all argue. The cool people are gonna still be your friend after. That's just ask a lot of the people I play with. I need people with spines, like I said, people willing to call me out on my bad calls while still being constructive. So if you're picking up what I'm putting down, please feel free to send me a friend request. Yeah, like, you're just gonna, there's no option other than patience. I've met so many awesome Mercies just because I'm like, holy crap, this Mercy's amazing, friend request. Oh, they have a mic too? Now we're tight. Like, you just gotta be willing to grind through them. Cause I have blocked a lot of people, not because I don't expect to have to fight them one day or be on their team again in this game, because obviously that doesn't work, but just because I don't want to interact with them. Some people are toxic, it's true. Like, I mean, there's obviously varying levels of toxicity, but at the end of the day, that's something you're gonna judge, you know? Like, you're gonna figure out whether or not you can work with someone. Sometimes it takes you days, sometimes it takes you none but an hour to realize that person's a super creep. Man, that happened the other day. He was a fine player, but man, was he creepy. So, like, you know, there's the gamut. Just gotta be constructive all the time. Constantly practice being constructive. There's no other way. What are you out? I'm probably gonna splice in some audio if it happened to save earlier. of this guy who was basically harassing me for not being enough of a rectangle, when a better suggestion probably would have been for me to switch to a different tank other than Reinhardt. Instead, he's harassing me about not grouping up and not being enough of a rectangle when I've been with the healers the whole time. And then, like, I'm literally behind the rectangle he's demanding, watching him die, and I'm trying to yell at him to group up, and what's he yelling? Over and over, all he's yelling is that I'm dumb. I'm the dumb one, while this guy is literally not grouping up, which is something he told me to do, and dying on the other side of my rectangle. It's like, I can't run over there. I'm protecting the healers you seem to know nothing about. And so, like, I don't know, like, people are gonna argue, and just don't play with them. Or, like, think about what happened a whole hell of a lot, and then, you know, apologize in a way that helps them to realize that it's not just you being a dick. It's fucking you and them being a dick. Because that's gonna happen. Two people are gonna be assholes to each other. They just gotta get over it. So, TLDR, this whole pseudo-organized rant that I will probably become known for if I make enough of them. Oh my god. Mr. Baldwin, are you listening? No, not Alec Baldwin, my English teacher. Anyway, TLDR. I feel like my niche in this console world we're currently engaging in, because I haven't dropped the hammer on buying it on PC yet, even though I totally see how PC would be swag as balls. I find my niche is to be a coach, and the people I can work with tend to be of the athlete mindset. Someone who understands that you're gonna take some L's, get some hard win W's, to use that current lingo that is hilarious to me and I definitely had to ask about. The athletes are gonna realize that they need to learn from fucking even the wins, and why the wins were hard or why the wins were easy. Because if you're just being like, oh, this is easy, we're so good, but when in reality they've got 6 DPSers, 2 of them overlapping and no healers, like, it's not really you being good so much as them having one of the worst team comps ever. And you gotta be constructive as much as you can, and realize ain't nobody's perfect. Take everything with a grain of salt. Hopefully I can splice in my own words following this about synergy boners and how they happen. Because if there's one thing I want to be known for, it's my ability to induce raging synergy boners out of my whole team. Yeah, I meant that. That's what we're talking about today. You're either an athlete or a pussy. You either understand that I'm here to coach you and that sometimes coaches fucking yell, but most of the time they're gonna try and be as constructive as possible, or you're just gonna consider me a bully and puss out and never benefit from the fact that I do hours and hours and hours of research into this game. Perfect! Bam! That is oh man, I told you this guy was cool, Tanaka. I fucking told you. That was the TLDR, man. That was 100% the TLDR. This guy, man after my own heart right now. Synergy boner and the game hasn't even started. Let's capitalize on this. Try to take everything a person like me says with a grain of salt. Because, you know, we care about you. We care about your W's, man. But more importantly, to like adjust what he said about taking what I say with a grain of salt, I think we can flesh it out, make it something fun and slightly deeper related. We can just say, take everything with a grain of salt, but don't get salty. You don't want to get salty. You know what I mean? Don't be the diva dumping the salt on the Mei's head. Don't be that guy. Anyway, back to Widowmaker's not so TLDR for those of you who are still interested in what I have to say. It says you when you look down in the mech. So yes, I want to work with athletes. I want to work with other professional coaches. The word there being professional, because like I keep saying, the sun don't shine out my ass. I'm not perfect, and neither is any professional coach out there. But what they realize is that in acknowledging their lack of perfection, there is room for consistent growth. And there is no way to succeed in a sport without having consistent freaking growth. You understand? Without setting your ego aside to some tiny extent, all that's gonna happen is you're gonna yell at each other and you're gonna stagnate. So I'm out here to say to everybody who happens to watch this, please try not to stagnate. Please realize that if you think you know all the answers, you don't. And you want to surround yourself with people who have answers. Not all the answers that have answers. Because now you're creating a dialogue. You're creating a working dialogue about how we gank this team, how we get better, how we improve this strategy. And that's what matters. That's what matters. That's what matters. Because everybody's like, oh, I played quick play to have fun. No. Winning is fun. Winning is fun. Getting trashed because their DPS is better than your 6 DPS, that's not fun. How is that fun? Where's the fun in that? Quick play should be called practice play, and I stand by that. If you practice like you play, you're gonna get better, you're gonna get way more wins, and you're gonna have more fun. Because I promise you, stagnating's no fun, because you're gonna hit a wall you don't see. You're gonna hit a wall you don't see. It's gonna make you yell. It's gonna make you cry. It's gonna make you accuse people of using aimbots when really they're just not afraid of missing. As my horrible Widow game will prove. I don't use this character much because I realize I'm not very good with her, and that's another thing. There's characters I'd like to play, characters I think are fun, but you know what? I like to win. And winning through a character I'm learning how to be better at because I see that that's what the team needs right now. That's not just having fun in a game, that's like being a better person because you're mature enough to make the necessary switches away from things that might be your favorite in order to practice something you think is going to help the team succeed. Which is not my Widowmaker game. So that was not much of a TLDR now, was it? Oh.